Last week, a 25-year-old employee of Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency resigned after...
Why did she got to start like that?
So-called.
It's so-called. Like, ooh.
It's
a lot of aggression in her tone right there.
The Whoopi I grew up to and the Whoopi that's right here, they're two completely different people. I used to rock with Whoopi. I don't rock with Whoopi no more. When people used to call her ugly, I used to feel bad for her. I no longer feel bad for her.
I no longer feel bad.
So-called Department of Government Efficiency resigned after racist anti-Indian posts resurfaced. But VP J.D. Vance is defending him, tweeting that he disagrees with the post but doesn't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. Then he called on... Now, forgive me for it. Is it DOGE?
DOGE.
Doge, you know what it
Or
is.
DOGE? What is it?
Doge.
I'm just going to call it dog.
I'm not gonna tell you what I call it.
Yeah. Well, he called on DOGE to, quote, bring... Listen, if you can't have a little fun with this... And so I'm quoting
We're
J.D.
laughing
Vance.
at you,
Bring
not with
him
you.
back. If he's a bad dude or a terrible member of the team, fire him for that. Now, Vance's wife and children are Indian, and people are a little surprised that he doesn't consider this guy maybe a baddish kind of dude. So
We seen this like all the time. They'll go back on somebody's famous from tweets, something they tweeted 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2012.
They should be fired because of da-da-da-da. That's probably how they felt at that time. But they had enough time where they could have made a change and feel completely different, and you fire somebody for something they no longer believe in anymore. I feel like he feel, don't fire me for something I posted on social media. I wasn't on your clock. This is my own personal time.
Right.
And I don't think that he should have got fired of it. So I stand with J.D. Vance. And the good thing about J.D. Vance is, like, if anybody can talk about this, I can, because my wife is Indian, who he's talking about. If I'm not offended, my wife is not offended.
How are you offended?
Exactly.
throwing it out there. This is what they said about DOGE and the guy.
You don't have to be married to an Indian person to be completely offended by what he said here. He is a bad dude. And we're not calling him racist. He's a self-proclaimed racist. In fact, I quote him, just for the record, I was racist before it was cool. And when I say these aren't, the way he addressed it, he said I don't want social media.
J.D. Vance didn't say that.
No, sorry, to be clear.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, the guy they're rehiring, the 25-year-old wonderkind that's like a self-proclaimed racist, that guy, said all these things and as recently as last fall. So the reason I point that out is this isn't digging up an old stupid tweet. This is a 25-year-old man who not only, he grew up on social media. He knows exactly what's gonna happen, and he still felt the need to put that out there. He's absolutely not hireable, and it's not just for what he said. His lack of impulse control, his lack of character, integrity, I could go on and on. Like, this is...
I'm pretty sure the same lady talking about he's unhireable. If we looked at her background, we look into her tweets, we have microphones in the house and listen to the stuff that she says.
Yeah,
when she thinks nobody will listen. They were saying the same thing about her, that she's unhireable. The guy's only 25. We know the brain don't even fully develop until you're 25. So most likely he made these statements before his brain was even fully developed.
Yeah.
And you're trying to hold somebody without a fully developed brain yet to the standard of somebody that got a fully developed brain.
Really an embarrassing hire in the first place.
The way J.D. Vance, talked about it, I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. Okay, this wasn't years and years ago, these tweets. Yeah. They were months ago. So if he's such a kid, what the hell is he doing having
25.
access to sensitive information at practically every department in the federal government? But, racism like this could ruin. Being subjected to racism, being the victim of racism, of discrimination, of hatred like this could ruin a kid's life, including J.D. Vance's kid's life, who are going to have to face racism in America just by who they are and who their mother is. So I would say, look, if I was, I can't even say this. I was going to say if I was married. If I was married to J.D. Vance, he doesn't want to be married to me either. And there was somebody, making specific attacks, because these were specific attacks against Indians. If somebody making specific attacks against Latinos or Nicaraguans, I'd be pretty pissed off. If my husband were saying, bring him back, this is okay. So basically what they're signaling is, look, FBI agents who worked on January 6th, bad. DEI employees, bad. DOJ civil rights employee, bad. USAID employees who help the poor and sick all over the world, bad. But racists are welcome in the Trump administration.
Well, what stood out to me, I mean, echoing what Sarah said, is
They're really up here trying to paint a crazy picture, and I'm like the fact that we get a chance to combat some of the stuff and some of their views that they have on the view, because they make it seem like everyone agree with them. I don't know. I agree with some of the stuff they're saying, but I don't agree with everything that they're saying.
I don't either. And I don't think you should. I don't think anyone should agree with everything that someone says unless it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all have our vantage points from how we are observing the world.
Yeah.
But some of this stuff be over the top.
Yeah, I don't think that like you should, certain things, people make mistakes. It's like I made plenty of mistakes in my life, and don't hold me to that mistake. Give me a chance to correct it. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me how I can do better, and I can do better. But just to hold somebody from one decision that they made, if people help me to one bad decision that I made, then who knows what type of life I would have now.
Right.
If nobody never gave me a chance to redeem myself, let me learn from the situation and become a better person. And I'm pretty sure over this situation, when he hearing the outcry, hearing what people saying, they probably saying stuff that he never thought about, that he's probably going to change for the better.
He would look at the world differently.
And that's all people want. We don't want you not to be able to feed your kids or feed yourself and think that we did something. No. Listen to what people are saying, and hopefully you learn something from it going forward as you keep going into your manhood.
I initially saw J.D. Vance's statement not following the story, and I was like, oh, I agree with him. I'm stealing Sonny's line. I don't believe in cancel culture. I believe in consequence culture. But
That's what I said. A little video she said, she seemed like the only one up there got a little bit of common sense on there from the couple of videos we've seen so far.
I didn't realize this was recent. I thought this was a 45-year-old who something from 20 years ago was resurfaced.
And that's what I thought. That's initially what I thought.
Yeah, me too, until they started breaking it down.
When she started breaking it down and saying the time stamp, I was like, well, damn. You know what I'm saying? But that's initially what I thought. But, I mean, it still remains the same.
Yeah.
It still remains the same. Everybody deserves an opportunity to make things better.
Yeah. Have you ever posted something that you shouldn't have posted?
I'm sure I have.
Have you ever said something that you wish you could have taken the words back?
Well, no. I'm a Scorpio.
You never said
I'm a Scorpio. It's just the heart of me. Like, when I say it, I mean it. But I hear what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying.
We all posted something we shouldn't have posted. We all said something that we wish we could take back. It's just how life goes. And if somebody's take everything from you because of that, where would any of us be?
That's an interesting observation.
This was recent. I thought this was a 45-year-old who something from 20 years ago was resurfaced. That is very different. And for folks who are trying to gauge, like, is this Trump administration the same as the first? Well, in the first, somebody who had attended a white nationalist rally and that came to light, he was fired. In this Trump administration, he is the spokesperson for the United States State Department. There is a signaling going on of what is okay and saying, this is the new us, this is the new norm. And I would just say to Trump, who actually did build what is looking like a multiracial coalition within the Republican Party, doubling his numbers with young black men, 5 points higher with Asian Americans. He seeks to undermine those own gains he made by having people who espouse these hateful, bigoted views associated with him. It makes no sense to me.
I mean, of course, I agree with everyone. I didn't realize racism was okay. I've often said I've never met a racist that says, hi, I'm a racist. Now I have met a racist that says, hi, I'm a racist. But I will say this. I'm so tired of this notion that a white man doing something like this at age 25 is a kid doing it. Because your frontal lobe is fully developed at 25. You are a graduate of Rutgers University.
It just developed at 25. How long has this guy been 25? I mean, it just happened.
Yeah.
It just fully developed.
You're an engineer. You have had several positions, jobs with Elon Musk. You are not a kid. You are a man. And so this notion that, oh, well, he made childish and mistakes and it shouldn't ruin his life because he's just a kid. Really, there's a juxtaposition which how they do treat black boys. Black kids are often, treated as adults when they actually are children. So I really, really noticed that. And the other thing I'll say is, the engineering dog team under Elon Musk.
Doggy.
The doggy team. The oldest person is 25. They range in age from 19 to 25.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that have the access to our most serious, sensitive information, and they have no real work experience. What happened to meritocracy? What happened
They don't
to
have
that?
a lot of life experience.
No, but
They
I
don't have
actually.
It's like, yo, these young kids are the ones who's great with the technology.
Yeah.
You can't try to hire somebody in their 40s to try to go work with technology. The technology has passed them.
Yeah.
When I have a question on something to do with the computer, the first thing I do is call my son. Because you're gonna know better. If I don't know if I don't know certain things about my iPhone, I'm gonna call my son because I know he's more likely to know, because this is the era that the younger generation
Operating systems
is
and
dealing with.
it just is what it is.
They're in school learning coding and stuff. We didn't learn coding when we was in school at all. My son was learning this in high school.
Shoot, when I was in high school, I had typewriting.
Damn.
And then the next year, since they got rid of typewriting, because it was new. It was new. Then we had keyboarding.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of that, and it was word processing.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine. I only graduated in 2000.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're doing coding.
Yeah. In high school, like a regular class.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Experience. What happened to meritocracy? What
They
happened
don't
to
have
that?
a lot of life experience.
No, but
They
I'm
don't have
actually
life
fine with
experience.
25-year-old engineers.
First, they're gonna jump all over this man, and then
Beat him down.
and then in the next breath, he don't got a lot of life experience. Make that make sense.
Meritocracy. What
They
happened
don't
to
have a
that?
lot of life
No,
experience.
but
They
I'm
don't have
actually
life
fine with
experience.
25-year-old engineers if they're qualified as engineers. But then to Sunny's point, you don't get to say, oh, but he's a kid when he does something stupid. Either you are a savant engineer and you're going to take responsibility when you do things wrong, or you have no business being in the job.
Yeah.
It's the type of job that it is. It's a computer job. Nobody know the computers better than the youth. It's just common sense.
And it's I like when she speaks because it normally comes out very eloquent.
Yeah.
The only part of this that is kind of like, you can't really say that, like, because your aptitude and your behavior
Yeah.
are two different things.
Facts.
I know some brilliant dumbasses.
Yeah.
They do dumb stuff.
Yes.
And literally, I meant what I said.
Yes.
Like some brilliant dumbasses.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just in this nature, in this culture of technology.
Yeah.
A lot of times the weird people
Yes.
are the people who you go to.
Yes. And like, if you look at even the guy from Facebook Meta, I can't think his name, Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, yeah.
If you talk to him or you see him, he's a weird guy.
It's a weird guy.
But when it comes to that type of stuff, he knows.
He's on top of everything.
Facts.
Engineer, and you're going to take responsibility when you do things wrong, or you have no business being in the job.
Yeah.
Again, we have seen this before. We have seen this before. We know what happens. They say, oh, no, they didn't really mean it, or that was just locker room talk. This is the evolution of that.
I mean, that's how people feel. That's how I feel with it. Don't beat me down over one mistake. I made mistakes in my life. I'm pretty sure going forward, I'm going to make some more mistakes. I don't want to be in a position where now I cannot feed my family because I made a mistake. I don't think they want that for nobody. I'm not down with racists. I'm not cool with it, but I'm not to a point in my life where I don't think a person can not redeem himself or do better going forward. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I feel like everybody deserves a shot.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, out of this interaction and how things were brought to the forefront, I feel like as a human being, as a person,
Yeah.
he's going to try to make some type of rectification.
Some adjustments in his
some
life.
adjustments in his life. Whether he says it to everyone or not,
Yeah.
we're just going to have to see how it plays out. But
Yeah.
you can't be under the spotlight like this and be like, be like, oh, I got to do something different.
Yeah, they're talking about you on a View.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to have to make some type of immediate changes. So I want to see how that plays out, because one thing we have heard, even in listening to this, the issue is not him being an engineer.
Yeah. Nah. He's probably one of the best engineers out there.
Yeah. So he just needed to fix his some personal things, but I feel like, again, we need some of the best people in these positions for the jobs.
Yeah.
And if he gets a chance to grow and be a better person, hats off to him.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get out this video, if you didn't like, subscribe, or leave a comment, make sure you do that. Until next video, it's Tremaine Jones.
And it's Lamar Wilson.
And we out.